Welcome to another Monday night live call-in show. The number is up and running across your screen. Dial us up 567-483-1999. We need to talk to you tonight. We got the shot clock up. It's ready to rock and roll this evening. We'll try to get through as many phone calls as we can this evening. Obviously, tonight's a night that a lot of you are going to want to vent, and that is fine. Some of you might be positive. Some of you might be a little on the negative side, a little pessimistic. It's okay. You're allowed to be and feel however you like. This is the OHIO podcast. All fans of the Buckeyes indeed are welcomed here. All shapes, all sizes, and all attitudes. All attitudes are welcomed in Buckeye Nation here on the call-in show on the OHIO podcast. It's been a fun day for us here at the OHIO podcast. Another very successful day as we continue to migrate into our new environment that we're in. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we signed a contract with Gamut Media that went into account last week as we begin to integrate all of our content into Gamut Media and give us a larger platform to reach even more fans, a lot like yourself. I have to start working on a commercial. How's that? Got to work on a 30-second commercial for radio. So that's exciting. I started working on the script tonight, and I got to try to find some music, some background music that won't get us in trouble. So we got to work on that. Hey, I see you in the chat, Roy. Good to see you, Roy. Eric Osbeck sent me that money for the membership for Patreon. Roy, go ahead and send me a message or email if you haven't already, so that I can get you, can tell you exactly how you get your Patreon membership, so you can start hanging out with us over at the Patreon, which we have called the Lodge. You want to hang out with us over at the Lodge. It's a virtual lodge, and we love it over there. So, yeah, so excited about that. Good to have all of you with us in the chat tonight. Coconut is with us. Rockstar, RDCB, Jim, good to see you tonight as well. Mimi, good to have you. The lovely pod mother, Sarah, is in the chat. Vader, Mean Green, good to have you guys with us tonight as well. Hanging out in the chat. Hey, Renee, what's up, dude? Good to see my main man, Martinez. Isn't that what Kennedy calls you? My main man, Martinez. Yeah, give us a phone call, 567-483-1999. Jeffrey, good to see you in the chat tonight as well. And real quick, Roy, thank you for the Christmas card, man. That was a pleasant surprise. It was awesome to get that Christmas card. I opened it up and went, wait a minute, this is from Roy. Very lovely card. We put all of our Christmas cards on our piano that only no one plays, and and so that was really cool to see. Jar, good to see you this evening as well. iBuck, welcome in. Awesome. Lisa, good to see you as well. All right. Rules of engagement this evening. Rules of engagement. You're allowed to talk about whatever you want to talk about as long as it is college football or Ohio State related. All right? College football or Ohio State related. Phone calls must be kept to 6 minutes unless you are one of two people. And the reason why is because one speaks through a device and the other one is a former Michigan stadium, whatever they're called. We call them redcoats at Ohio Stadium. Usher, a former Michigan usher, turned Ohio State fan who is our elder and gets as much time as he would like. Other than that, we need to try to keep it to 6 minutes so as we can try to get through as many as we can tonight. That being said, it's a full bank of calls. There is literally every line is taken up already, which is awesome. That's good to see. We have 5 lines. As soon as one drops, we go to the next one. So make sure you're quick on the number if you want to dial them in. We'll try to go through them pretty quick tonight. But that being said, we're going to go with the man. He gets to go first. That's Buck Vader. So let's bring him on this evening. Let's start with our insider extraordinaire, Mr. Buck Vader. Let's bring him on. Vader, how you doing this evening?
Hey Podfather, it's Vader. I know we're all disappointed in the loss, but I have the solutions and it won't be hard to fix. I also have commentaries on Brian Hartline that many people aren't going to like, but I think Buckeye Nation needs to hear, and the NCAA needs to fix their horrible calendar.
Indeed, they do. Let's start with the game yesterday. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Buckeye Nation, I know emotions are high right now. Losing the Big Ten championship is never acceptable at Ohio State, but let's keep this in proper perspective. This game, in our current position, was ultimately a bragging rights game. We had a chaotic week of preparation. We played a very good opponent, who was essentially playing a home game, and despite all of that, we still lost by 3 points. That's not a collapse. That's a narrow loss under difficult circumstances. Now, if this team wants to repeat, there are 4 things that must be addressed immediately, and I'm going to be honest, even if it makes people uncomfortable. First, Tigre has to be benched. Enough is enough. This is no longer about one bad game. In the Big Ten championship alone, Tigre gave up over half of the sacks and tackles for loss. And that wasn't an outlier, it mirrors what we've seen over the course of the season. You cannot have that kind of liability on the offensive line in playoff football. At this point, this is about protecting your quarterback and giving your offense a chance to function. If change isn't made here, the result won't change either. Second, it's time to move on from fielding. I don't say that lightly, but the evidence is overwhelming. Fielding has repeatedly shown he cannot make routine field goals in high-pressure moments. Playoff football magnifies every mistake, and missed kicks cost games. Yes, making a switch now isn't ideal. But here's the real question: what do we actually have to lose? Because continuing as this has already cost us. Third, we must pick up the tempo immediately. Throughout the regular season, Ohio State played methodical, slow football. That's fine when you're managing games. But now it's win or go home. Increasing tempo helps this offense find rhythm, stresses opposing defenses, and creates mismatches. This roster is built for speed and explosiveness, play like it. And finally, we need to evaluate Brian Hartline's double duty. I'm not going to dive fully into that just yet. I'll expand on it in my next segment, but this much needs to be said. Great coach, elite recruiter, tremendous wide receivers. Coach, but that doesn't automatically mean wearing multiple hats. What's best for this team right now? That question has to be asked honestly. If Ohio State makes these 4 adjustments, I truly believe this team gives itself an excellent chance to repeat. The talent is there. The margin for error is shrinking. The decisions made next will define whether the season ends in frustration or history.
Indeed, they will, Buck Vader. Exactly right, man. These decisions that Ryan Day is making this week, the next couple weeks, in preparation for the Cotton Bowl, which I'm assuming is going to be Texas A&M, unless Miami goes into their home field and upsets them, is going to be critical for the remainder of the for this college football playoff run, and how this season and this team will be defined when it's all said and done. It was an embarrassment, and you pointed out the 2 biggest flaws on the field that happened individually in fielding, kicking, and Tager Shabola at the right guard. Tager Shabola should not start the next football game. Pull the plug, get Vince Sickle in there, give him the first team reps, get him ready. He's got to be ready to go, because Tagra showed for the last time, in my opinion, that he is not it at that position. Um, so I agree with everything you said there. And this team will be defined moving forward on what happens in the playoff. Now, you alluded to Brian Hartline. That is going to be a major talking point tonight. I understand that with the majority of phone calls we're going to get from now until when this show is over. So give me your thoughts on Mr. Hartline.
Let me start by saying this as clearly as possible. I love Brian Hartline. I will always be grateful for what he's done for Ohio State. The man is a Buckeye legend as a player, and as a coach he has built the best wide receiver room in college football, period. That is not up for debate. But loving someone doesn't mean we stop being honest. And this past week, it wasn't handled well. I'm not the only one saying it either. That sentiment was felt inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center as well. Now, before anyone twists this into a blame game, let me be clear, this is not all on Brian Hartline. The NCAA's calendar is an absolute mess. Championship week, portal, chaos, recruiting, prep for the playoff, it's borderline irresponsible. How they stack it? I'll address that disaster in my final thoughts. But here's the part we can control and the part that matters most. Brian Hartline owes it to his players, his boys, to give them the absolute best chance to win a national championship. And I don't believe doing double duty helps that cause in today's college football. That's too much. My dad used to tell me something growing up, and I've never forgotten it. If your head and your backside aren't in the same place, you aren't doing anybody any good. That's not an insult, that's reality. This isn't about the Big Ten championship loss. That's over. You learn from it and you move on. This is about what comes next and what's best for the team right now. And here's my recommendation. Ryan Day needs to shake Brian Hartline's hand and tell him this. Someday, you'll be back. But right now, South Florida is best for this team, and it's probably what's best for you. That's not a demotion. That's leadership. That's doing what's right for the locker room, for the staff, and for a championship window that is wide open right now. Ohio State isn't a place to figure things out on the fly. It's the place to be fully locked in, all gas, no divided focus. And Brian Hartline deserves the chance to be great again. Just not split in half. Sometimes the hardest decisions are the right ones. And sometimes loving your people means putting them and the team in the best position to succeed.
Exactly. That's called tough love, right? Isn't that called tough love?
Yes.
Brian Hartline, for what he did, let me go back to my initial statement on Brian Hartline months ago when people were worried about him being the play caller. And I said, everything Brian Hartline has done in this profession that he has touched has turned to gold. And that was true for the first 12 games of this year as an OC, as a play caller. And I have no doubt that he's going to be successful at USF for the Bulls. I believe he will. I think he'll be very successful. Got a nugget today about him I will share on Patreon. If you're not a member of Patreon, links below. Click on it, become a member over at Patreon, get insight information from people like Buck Vader, who's connected to the program. And when we get nuggets, we like to share them as well. But Brian Hartline, if it's best for this team, like the video I made today, like Nick Saban said in an interview on ESPN yesterday that was directed towards Ryan Day, it's your job, it's your duty as the head coach to do what's best for this team. If that means bring him back and have him be the play caller, do it. If it means you say thanks, but time to move on, and you call the plays,
yes,
you do it. So that is where we are currently at. It is Ryan Day's responsibility to make that decision. And I think as Ohio State fans, whatever he decides, he's earned the right after winning a national championship, and beating Michigan, he's earned the right for us to say, if you decide to do that, coach, we're behind that. But I respect your opinion that you think it's time for Brian Hartline to move on at this point, Buck Vader. All right, you got one final thing you'd like to say about college football in general? Go for it, my man.
Look, I love the expanded playoff, but the fact that the transfer portal window, the early signing period, and college football playoff all crash into the same yes. Look, I love the expanded playoff, but the fact that the transfer portal window, the early signing period, and the college football playoff all crash into the same 2-week period in December is flat out malpractice. It creates an untenable situation for elite programs, and it specifically penalizes teams like Ohio State, which are built on stability and culture. Think about what Ryan Day and his staff are forced to do, while they should be locked in 100% on game planning for a massive quarterfinal or semifinal matchup, a game that determines their season's legacy. They are simultaneously fighting a civil war. They're running a war room to secure the commitments of 18-year-old high school players, and they're playing defense against every rival in the country who is whispering sweet nothings into the ears of their current star players about entering the transfer portal. Assistant coaches are fielding job offers, which is a distraction. Players are worrying about whether they're getting the right nil deal, or if they need to transfer out because they lost their starting spot, which is a massive distraction. The focus, the concentration, and the unity required to win a national championship in the most pressurized sport in America simply gets eroded by administrative chaos. The solution is simple, and the NCAA knows it. Move the early signing period back, or, better yet, close the transfer portal until after the national championship game. Until they protect the integrity of the actual competition by separating the money and the movement from the games that matter most, the Buckeyes and every other top-tier program will be forced to compete with one hand tied behind their backs during the most critical month of the year. It's got to change.
It does, and I agree with you 100%, Vader. It needs to change. The problem is you don't have intelligent people running college football. You have greedy people running college football. That's the problem.
Yes.
That's the problem. Great call, Buck Vader. Everybody show him your love in the chat. Make sure you go over to Patreon. He is the man over there running the message boards, doing a fantastic job. He sent me an article that we are working on that, if Buckeye Nation could read, would send shockwaves through the community. We'll probably post it tomorrow. We're going to do a little bit of tweaking and editing to it before it's posted, but I think you all are definitely going to want to read that. So make sure that you are locked in over there on our Patreon so you don't miss that article and all the extra great content we have. Great phone call, Vader. Way to get us started off, my man, OH. Here it comes. Maybe. There it was. Have a good night, buddy. Buck Vader getting us started off. We're going to go from Buck Vader to the living legend himself.
Eric.
What's up, buddy?
I'm embarrassed and frustrated that Ryan Day, and I know what he was thinking. We had that one drive down there against Michigan, and it took 7 plays to get 1 yard. But my God, you got the greatest running back freshman that I've ever seen in a long, long time. And you don't give him the ball. You try to sneak it, and they throw on third down on the 2-3 yard line. There's no room for the receivers. Jeremy was double teamed on the one, and then on the other one, he's throwing to a slow tight end in the end zone. It doesn't make any sense. All you got to do is you got second down after 9.5 yards, and you don't give it to your running back, the great freshman running back that's in there. And I know what he was thinking. The 7 plays, and they couldn't get in the end zone from 1 yard. You've got to put that great freshman in there, and maybe even put a fullback in there to shove him for a half a yard. we can't get a half yard. We don't deserve to win. You know, if you'd have made that field goal, they were driving on us. There was 2-3 minutes left. He would have just took them down and got a. In our defensive backs, I caught it. He threw bombs 3 or 4 times to these white dudes. I don't know where they come from. They're like 4th, 5th string receivers, and he's making perfect throws. And all 4 times, our defensive back didn't look up for the ball, and he could have knocked it away.
I know. It is frustrating, isn't it, Ray? It is. It was a frustrating game to watch. We were not prepared offensively. We played a good enough game defensively. We played like that defensively. We're national champions. Offensively, we looked like a peewee football team.
We did. And how are you going to be able to move the ball on A&M? They're already even Joey Galloway predicted Texas A&M or Miami is going to beat Ohio State. So we might not even win one game out of this. And here's another thing that ticks me off. Tyler and all these other people are always predicting 30, 40 point victory. Even Nevada predicted Michigan was going to get all the penalties. He predicted a blowout. I said, I don't see it. I didn't see it at all. You were the only one that thought like me it was going to be a close game.
Mm-hmm. It just, there was so much going on this week that distracted this team, distracted this coaching staff. And you notice they had 0 distractions in Bloomington, Indiana. They were locked in. They were focused. Ray, they were the hungrier team out on the field.
I'm going to tell you, they play better as a team than we did. That's the trouble with our team. Our team doesn't play. I was scared going in that their team, even though they got 2, 3-star players and they brung them in from all over the country, he has them playing, and they were all over our receivers and stuff. I mean, Jeremy had to make some great catches. And what gets me, it'll be Jeremiah one game. He'll only get 1 catch in the second half. What's the guy that got the touchdown?
Carnell Tate.
In the first half.
Carnell Tate.
Yeah. How many catches did he get in the second half? 1 time?
He caught 1 ball. Maybe.
Yeah. How many times have we seen this the last 2 years where either Jeremiah or Tate, one of them gets shut out practically in the second half? There's no receptions at all.
It's almost like.
Do you actually think, I'm telling you right now, Miami and Texas A&M, that's going to be a toss-up game. You may be even the underdog because A&M's going to have all those fans there. And then you got to play Georgia. That's going to be a hell of a – you're going to have to get your offense down or you'll never beat Georgia like this. And then the third game's going to be Indiana. But you know what? Indiana's got to play Texas Tech. They could get knocked off in the first round.
Or their first game in the second round. Ray.
Texas Tech's a good team.
Yeah, Ray.
Texas Tech's a good team. And even the other games, those are all got tough games in the second round.
They are. They're all good games in the second round, except for Georgia. I think Georgia dog walks Ole Miss in the second round.
Well, you got to win 3 games.
That's right.
I don't see us winning 3 games, and Ryan Day does not give it to that freshman. When you've got third, second, and 1, why are you throwing the ball? Both times they had those plays covered. Now, Tom Brady used to always get the receivers to be able to come back for the ball and catch it and get a touchdown. But I don't remember any other great quarterbacks be able to throw it down at a 2 or 3 yard line. There's no room down there.
I know this.
You've got 10, 11 players in there. How much room does he have? They don't have very much room in the end zone.
He does it. It's 7 yards. The end zone's 7 yards deep.
That's what I'm saying. Even our touchdown, he had to roll out and finally found Tate at the end on the touchdown. But here we go again. This looked like Michigan all over a year ago. I agree with all them guys. We got shut out in the second half. They can't do any of this crap in the next 3 games. And I'm telling you right now, if they don't win the national title after this stinking loss, it's just going to be an ordinary year. It ain't going to be a great year for Ohio State.
You're right, but we did beat Michigan, so we do have that.
Yeah,
We went 12-0
I
in the
agree with
regular
that.
season, so that counts for something too. But
Yeah, it does.
Ray, this team, we've seen it before. We saw it last year. If this team gets
Yeah,
hot and they make the correction that they need to make, and this team gets
right.
hot, they have the firepower to win 3 in a row in this bad boy. The thing that I'm a little concerned about, Ray, is Ryan Day has not put his foot on the gas yet this season. He hasn't done it.
Yeah,
He's been too patient, too
yep.
slow, too methodical. We've liked it because it's worked. It didn't work this past game, and so we need to reevaluate. He needs to look at those weapons he has and says, how can I utilize those weapons against Texas A&M or Miami, and then against Georgia if they've got the opportunity to do so. So that
I'll
is
tell you, that
obviously
quarterback for Indiana is a lot better than I thought he was. He threw 4 or 5 dimes way down the field, and we had a guy right on that guy, and we couldn't get the ball out of his hands. You know, he caught it, and before he stripped him, he covered the ball up. That was the difference in the game.
Yeah, he's a good player.
That was the difference.
Well, the difference in the game, in all honesty, was the fact that we weren't successful on fourth down and we missed a field goal. And if you're successful on fourth down that first time down inside the red zone, maybe we score, we kick a field goal, maybe that score actually gets us up by 7 or 10, and it's lights out. But we lose by 3.
Derek, he should have went for the touchdown. My God, you got to get a touchdown there, put him 4 points ahead. That would give the defense more confidence. If he makes that field goal, even if he makes it, I think they drive down and get a winning field goal. We couldn't stop him. We couldn't stop him very good.
Yeah, we didn't. You're right.
We had 3 or 4 sacks in the first half. I don't know if we got any in the second half.
I don't think we did. Maybe one.
And then another thing that pissed me off, the officials. We get the third sack, and the next one he rolls out and gets out of the out of the grass, and they call that a sack.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad call by the referees.
It was. There was a lot of bad calls by the referees. There was twice.
You know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of the New England Patriots when they got upset by the Giants when Eli got out of it, and they almost blew the whistle. It reminded me of that one.
There was.
You remember that?
I barely. I'm not an NFL guy, but I do remember the Giants upsetting New England in the Super Bowl.
I like the college kids. See how they're doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I'm more into college myself, like you are. But we got that great freshman. I know they had 7 downs and they couldn't get it on that one, but you have to have confidence in your running back to get a half a yard, and if you have to, put the fullback in there and push him if he has to get the half a yard. You can't. The quarterback sneak. I thought he got it by 2 yards. Then I look at the replay and said, "Oh, replay. He's short. His knee went down."
Yep.
I don't like that's the one thing I don't like about college. That you go by their knee being down. With NFL, you got to tackle him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, Ray, it was frustrating, but here's the thing, man. We're still alive. We're still in this thing.
I know.
We still have something to play for.
I'm worried about Hardline too. I like him, but I think maybe he should move to that other team and bring in Kelly for these 3 games, because I'm afraid we're going to get beaten one of these 3 games. I'm scared. In every one of these games, I know Tyler loves Ohio State. I'm not trying to pick on him, but there's been a lot of other callers call in and tell you they're going to blow them out. If you were a betting man right now, be honest. If you play A&M or Miami, how much should you be favored by?
4.5 points.
Okay, what if you play Georgia?
That line might be even money.
Yeah. And then the last game, Indiana or Texas Tech. Who's the favorite in that?
if I think Ohio State would be favored by a field goal in either one of those.
So you're like me. These are going to be close games. They're not going to be like last year, where we blew out Oregon and they had that game. And that's another thing. We got a week off. We got to be on the other side now. We got to wait for one of these teams to play. They're going to be fresh coming in. We got to really be. We've got to get our red zone down. This red zone stuff has been like going on like this all year. It's driving me crazy.
It is bad. It is definitely the weakness of this football team this year. 100% in that, Ray. Ray, anything else, buddy?
If you had you had second down and a half a yard. If you get the first down, you got 4 more downs. But then you throw the ball, then you bring the field goal kicker out and he misses it. Why didn't you just go with the run for a half a yard and get the first down? Then you got 4 more downs.
Lack of confidence, Ray. A lack of confidence.
That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
I'm hoping he changes his mind this playoff because he only needs to win 3 games, but they're going to be hard 3 games. They're going to be like, remember the last 2 games when we just barely beat Texas and we beat Notre Dame? It was a pretty close game there too. Those games are going to be like that. It's going to take 1 or 2 plays, and if you're out on your game, you're going to be eliminated.
You will be. You're 100% right, Ray. Ray, we need to move on, brother. Appreciate your phone call. Hey,
All right, thanks for your time. God bless you, buddy.
God bless you, buddy. Take care.
OH.
I-O. I knew he was going to be fired up. I knew he was. Let's keep her moving. I'm going to go out west, talk to Martinez. It's a first-time caller, Notre Dame fan. What's up, Martinez?
Hey, Eric. What's up, buddy?
Dude, it's good to hear from you, man. I'm doing all right, things considering.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm just saying,
I only got 6 minutes, so I'm gonna try to make it prompt and get to my point.
First-time caller. Take your time, bro.
Nah, hey man. First of all, I want to tell you congratulations, man, on you doing this, and congratulations and thank you for being so class act, man. I tell people this, like I think the Midwest Irish fans have that bitterness, that hatred over the whole Michigan Big Ten and the whole history with Notre Dame not getting in right to the conference and all that. As far as me being in the Mountain West, I don't dislike the Big Ten like that, bro, the way I do the SEC. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, brother, like every Ohio State fan I've met, brother, class act. A buddy of mine that I bounced at a bar with, he was the head bartender. I was the head of security. Man, we fought some battles together, bro, as far as in the bar and keeping people legit and keeping things straight, man. One of my brothers, bro, forever has my loyalty. One of the best dudes I've ever met in my life, man. Met a dude on my way to the Syracuse game this last 2 weeks ago with Johnny's parents. Met a dude at the airport. You have a BYU Mormon kid. You have an Irish fan, an Ohio State guy, and a federal judge who's a former first female graduating class out of Notre Dame. How about that for a beginning of a joke?
Yeah, right. I was gonna say,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, a Mormon, a Catholic, and a Buckeye walk into the bar. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, right, right. And so, and then one of my buddies that was a regular, he was a big Michigan fan, man. So, man, class act to you guys. Even like people give Kent a hard time, bro. But you know what? I respect Kent when I would go off in my 10 months ago in my drunken binders, bro. Before I sobered up, I've been sober for 10 months now, man. Praise God.
Congratulations, buddy. Praise the Lord.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. I give Ken a lot of respect. He's there loyally to troll. He's there. He points out facts. He loves the game. He's passionate about you guys, Ohio State Buckeyes, bro. I love that, man. And I'm one to tell you, I'll give an ass whooping as quick as I'll take one. And you know what? We haven't been able to get in that ass in 100 years, literally. So, hey, man, to the victor goes the spoils. So, so as an Irish fan, man, congratulations on your show. For you guys that are class act, man, got nothing but love for you guys, man. I don't dislike Ohio State the way I don't dislike Ohio State at all. I really dislike Alabama because of their self-proclaimed 17 titles. And I know this might rally up some of your people, but if the university was to claim the other 12, we'd have 23 more than anybody in other college football. And so that's just, hey. But real quick, you know what, bro? I'm brokenhearted by that you guys lost the Big Ten championship because I was rooting for you, not just because of my friends, not just because of you and Mangos and even Kent, but because, bro, I really don't like Signetti. And I know this is all just a straight football podcast, so college football, I don't want to. But there's a person by the name of Alfred Kinsey who's a real POS, and in the IU has a statue erected of that POS, and Jim Jordan's a great representative of your state, so is the vice president. So if any of you guys wonder who that dude is, look up Alfred Kinsey, and you guys will dislike him too, especially my Ohio people. But I don't like Signetti, bro. I don't like his arrogance. I don't like his like I just don't, bro. I don't like the fact that he played three teams and give your team a lot of credit, bro. Like, you guys are the one team in the Big Ten, and even Michigan, bro. I know you guys dislike them. Michigan lost to Oklahoma, you guys, and USC, bro. You guys didn't lose to no patty cakes. They didn't play no patty cakes, bro.
No,
they didn't. Indiana played 3 junior high teams, bro. I mean, you could run up the score on those teams in a quarter and a half, and rest your starters. So their starters really didn't even get full blown out, to be used, worn down for about a month. You know what I mean, Eric?
Right.
So you guys really do have the upper hand on that team, bro. And I really hope you guys run into them and let them have it, man. I'm really rooting for you guys. One of my film kids went to Oregon, man. I love Eugene, Oregon. Was such a beautiful place, man. A few guys that I know, Holoti Nata, went to the high school down the street from where I used to go to school to the east side. He went to Highland High School. I went to the East High School from High School Musical. And he went to Oregon, man. And one of my old film kids went to Oregon. So I'm really pulling for you in Oregon. One of you guys to really pull this one out for us, man. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
So go ahead, buddy.
Hey, I just want to say I apologize,
Sorry.
Martinez. I apologize. On Kennedy's show last Monday, I told you all you guys were a lock for the playoffs. Don't worry about it. I was wrong. Here's the reason. Here's the reason I thought this, though, Martinez. They had you guys penciled in ahead of Miami this whole time, and then they flip-flopped it at the end. And I think they did it because Duke beat Virginia, and they wanted an ACC member representative in that CFP, and I think that's why they did it, and I think that's wrong. But I was wrong. I apologize to the Notre Dame people. I thought you all were in. I told you all not to worry about it. I said 10 and you're in, and I was wrong. My apologies.
No, Eric, don't apologize, man. Like, hey, you know what? Coach Freeman says it. No, brother. You know what, man? Hey, sorry. You know what, man? I thank you guys for giving us Marcus Freeman, man. The day Kelly left was the greatest day of my life. After we fired Weiss, man, I always thought that the university would go after Tony Dungy, considering his character and his faith and just the type of man he is, man. But we got stuck with Brian Kelly, and I never thought he was a fit, man. And you guys gave us Coach Marcus Freeman, bro, and I know how Chris feels about him, man. I respect Chris. I like Chris, bro, because I respect his passion. Bro. But no, and you know what, brother? As far as staying left out, it was hard. It was hard. I was just getting out of church, and they're reading it down, and I'm like, no, they're not really gonna leave us out, right? And I'm not mad at Miami fans. I'm not mad at Miami, bro. I'm not. I coached a lot of kids that went to different schools. I coached at a premier high school in Utah, bro, where Pete Carroll came in coming into his final glory years, and as Nick Saban came, bro. So I love the players. The players, I know the work that goes into it. I know the work that goes into the coaching. I don't like the talking heads. I don't like the good old boys, Southern plantation money. We're gonna just keep them old Northerners out of here. Them old Catholics and Mormons. You can go. We're gonna watch them beat themselves up. Brother. And like I tell you, big fan of Jim Jordan, so you know which way I lean.
I got you.
But the thing is, brother, the thing is, man. you kept Alabama in, and they have 3 losses, and they play 2 junior high teams. That's my problem right there. That's my problem. And then I didn't expect the team to opt out, man. I was already planning. Me and my best friends are LDS, bro. My brothers call them a lot of Tongan dudes that I played with out here in Utah, man. We went to go watch the Shamrock series in Vegas, man. In 22, I took my daughter. It was the first time I had seen the Fighting Irish football team play. The first ever Fighting Irish team I ever seen play, bro, was the girls basketball team that I raised my daughter watching right here at the Huntsman Center. And I was excited, bro. And we went on a road trip, and a few of us had got a family Notre Dame. A few of us had got a family BYU, and it was this amazing experience. And I was like, yeah, we're going to go, bro. And we're all going to go on a road trip. But I took it. Hey, it's done. But then they opted out. And although, like I've said, I don't agree with the decision. I don't like it, but I respect it because the ACC played us like a fiddle to bow down to the SEC, bro, and their deep pockets. I'm really kind of not happy with the big, and this is what I'll give the Big Ten. My buddy, the one that was a bartender, said it best. Up until the 12 teams, the Big Ten and the Pac-12 were the only conferences to ever play each other 100% completely. And the out-of-conference games were always against, and that's why I tell you, Ohio State will go and play anybody anywhere, bro. Remember they went to, was it Beanie Wells, I think, and they played against USC, and Stanley Havili, the fullback, he's a friend of mine. He scored in the end zone, and I know some of you guys remember that. And they did. Ohio State will go anywhere and play, bro. That I really, and I'm not saying that because I'm on your proud, bro, but you have to, as a college football fan, agree with that Ohio State and Notre Dame will go anywhere and play each other. Now, this is my last point. So also, like I tell you, I was kind of disappointed in that, bro. I was really looking forward for that road trip. Be it we got left out, but the Big Ten didn't really campaign against us. The Big 12, the ACC, and the SEC all campaigned against us. They all campaigned against us not being a conference. They all campaigned against this. They all campaigned against us. Coach Marcus Stevens in the Jim Tressel style or Carl Luho style really just said, hey, man, this is what we've done. I believe we got one of the best players, not one of the best teams in the country. And he didn't have to go and start throwing people under the bus, bro, and start saying, this is why you don't want them. He basically just pointed out our strengths, and, bro, that's class act right there. Now, this is going to hurt college football, bro, because here's the thing, and I've always said this, and I used to tell my homeboy, the bartender, his name's Steve Poland. He's from Columbus. There's 5 teams, bro, that if they're not doing good, college football is not doing good. And one of them, bro, is my Irish, and this is the truth. And that's me being biased, but it's the truth. One of them is our rival USC. One of them is, man, unfortunately, Alabama, who I really dislike. One of them is you guys' big hated rival, Michigan. And one of them is you guys. If those 5 teams are not doing good in college football for some reason, and I would even throw Miami in there somewhat, bro, but those 5 teams, if they're not doing good college football is not doing good. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening, brother.
Eric?
I'm listening.
So I just want to say that, man, and that's the thing. You let one of those 5 teams out of there, man, and you do them like this, it's going to hurt college football more than it's going to help it, man. And so to those 3 conferences that really campaigned against us, man, between the Big Ten and the ACC, bro, they got 2 teams in, and the SEC got 50% of the bracket, 45% of the bracket with their teams, bro. What does that tell you, Eric, man?
Yeah. Little SEC bias, no doubt about it, dude. Martinez, man, this was a great first call, brother.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine, man. I just said this was a great first call, man. What's your last thought heading out, my man?
My last thought, man, is thank you, man. Thank you for giving your people a voice and us a voice, bro. I was really like I said, I was disappointed about being left out, but I was really down about us opting out, and then you guys having this show, bro, and even listening to Chris, bro. Like I said, I love his passion, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate what you guys do for college football. Hey, brother, I'm rooting for you. Man. The last caller was right. Don't take off the gas on that pretender Signetti, bro. I'm rooting for you guys in Oregon, man, to win it all. Okay, buddy?
Appreciate you, Martinez.
I'm gonna say this, man. Onward, Notre Dame, but go Buckeyes. Okay?
Sounds good, brother. Take
All
care.
right,
God
buddy.
bless you,
Have a
man.
good night. Have a good night. Have a good night.
What a great first call. That was Martinez. I met him over at Always Irish. He's good people right there, man. And he's one of those people who's not afraid to chop it up with us Buckeyes, and he loves our passion, and I appreciate that. Another phone line's open. We're gonna go right back to it, and we're going to be turning the shot clock on tonight now, okay? The first two callers, they don't get one just out of respect for who they are. And that's kind of my thing with them. They can take their time. First time callers don't get a shot clock. Now, folks, the shot clock's coming on. So get your takes ready. Have them ready. When I say go, let it fly, all right? David, you're up first, man. Here we go, brother. Let it fly, my man.
All right. First off, Buckeye Nation, get your hands off of your pearls. Calm down. Calm down. The earth is not moving underneath your feet. Everything's going to be fine. And Ryan Day, when we lose, it's usually Ryan Day beats us. I can't even necessarily say it was Ryan Day that beat us this last time because look, everything that transpired during last week, it was an absolute crap show. It was an absolute crap show. Signing day debacle, and it continued on all the way through Friday, and it was not good. It was last week was a bad week, and it just threw everything off. It threw everything off, and I really think that Ryan Day should have told him, hey, win or lose after this championship game, you need to be on the first thing smoking out of Indianapolis to Tampa. You don't come back to Columbus with us. You're the head coach now at University of South Florida. Good luck, and we'll see you around like a donut. And thanks for everything you've done here. And you got to move on, and you got to pick a direction and go. And so as far as last week debacle, everything, you know what? We still got beat. We got beat by 3 points. You know what? Those 3 points belong to Julian. Those were Julian's 3 points. Julian spotted them 3 points. That was the 3 points. So we can blame Fielding, which is he's Fielding. Look, I don't care if he's winning every snap in practice. When it comes to game time, all right, he's not good. How many times have we got to see Fielding miss for easy chip shot field goals? Easy chip shot field goals. All right? There's no way the other guy's any worse. It's just like Kagra. Kagra should never see the light of day. Oh, he's not even good enough to be in the rotation at Ohio State. Kagra, sorry, you're not good enough to even be in the. Go hit the portal, Kagra, because I don't think he'll ever play at Ohio State ever again. I don't think he's not good enough. Plain and simple. There's two guys right there that aren't good enough to play here, and they're on, and they've cost us several times. Both of those guys have cost us several times. But more importantly than both of those is the lack of being able to put points on the board when you're inside the 5-yard line.
Right.
You're inside the 5-yard line. You come away with no points. That's a problem.
Big time.
And especially, in my opinion, you should be coming away with touchdowns. You have 2 first-round receivers. on that team and the most efficient passer in college football. For the love of Pete, I cannot figure out, and I watched this all year long, when we keep running on first and second down. Look, dude, you're trying to take a shot downfield when you got 2 first-round receivers. The most efficient passer in college football is first down. When you're in that field goal, when you're in field goal position, you hit that 35-yard line, and you got a first down, you should be throwing it to the end zone. And when we have done that, we have scored more touchdowns than we haven't. Throw the ball in the end zone. That's what we do. We're not a run-first team. We're a pass-first team. And Buckeye Nation is fine with that. Know who you are. Throw the ball. Throw the ball. Hey, they're trying to cover guys that are freaks. All right, you're probably, if you don't get the catch, right, you might get a pass interference call or a holding call on a defensive back. Last time I checked, those are usually first downs. And you move the chains and you put the pressure on their defense. Quit using 13 and 14 personnel. It hasn't worked at all. It doesn't work. You're loading the box against yourself. You're allowing them to put 10 dudes in the box. Quit running 3 and 4 tight ends. Stop it. Stop it. Put your best players on the field. Quit taking them off the field when you're down there and ready to score. And if you're going to run Julian, you should run him on a naked bootleg, where he has a chance to throw to somebody, and he's got good enough wheels inside the 5, a naked bootleg, he can score. Plain and simple. End of rant.
Io, good call, David. Well done, man. Fantastic. I loved it. He said, end of rant. OH. Oh, shoot. That's what this is all about, guys. Like I said, man, you want to vent, you have frustrations, you want to let air out those grievances. This is the place and time to do it right now. Let's bring on Jar. He's been waiting patiently. What's up, Jar?
What's going on, Eric? How we doing?
You know what? We're okay. I'm disappointed, but I'm gonna live. I'm gonna be all right. Sun came up this morning.
Yep, the sun's gonna shine regardless. But in the meantime, I have some issues myself.
Let's hear them.
And that is firstly starting with the ones at the top. Ryan Day and Brian Hartline. He needs to get this situation in order. And I'm of the belief that Brian needs to go to Tampa and stay. Because I don't understand how he's going to be able to balance doing his head coach thing, trying to meet deadlines and do everything that comes with being a new head coach, getting a staff together in Tampa. And how are you going to do that and create a game plan for whichever team you're going to be playing in the playoff in, 23 days?
Mm-hmm.
You're already down in Tampa for this entire week. So that's a week gone. You're not there. What's happening in your absence? This is not to say that I don't think that Ryan Day can do anything without him there, but it's kind of at a handicap. You know what I'm saying? That's why last night when you guys had the round table, I kept saying you need to bring Chip Kelly back, because although he hasn't been around this team for the little bit of time that he did in the NFL, I know you have some type of familiarity with Julian, saying you guys still had to work together while he was there last season. So it shouldn't be too hard to put something together with the amount of time that you have up until the game. So they got to get that in order. Secondly, I don't think that Tegra needs to touch the field again. About
Amen to
half
that.
of our tackles for loss, if not sacks, came from his side. Flip side of that coin, stop running to that side because that's not where the strength of our run game is. It's on the left side. I don't understand why they keep running to that side. But he needs to sit. Gabe Van Sickle needs to come in and start for the rest of the playoff stretch. And lastly, concerning the loss in the Big Ten championship, I think we were due for a letdown game. And this is something that I don't hear a lot of people speaking of. And I think reason for that is because just the prowess that we showed throughout the course of the season, you know, number one defense in the country, we shut everybody down. You can't score on us. But did we really expect these kids to be able to go 13, 14 games straight without a mistake? Now, what was shown is the defense was ready to the best of their ability. They did the best to keep us in the game, but the offense wasn't. And that shows me that the Michigan game was straight emotion. That was straight emotion that played that game because we had no issues to the point to where the issues that were there a week or two before weren't even paid attention to. But they came back and reared their ugly head right in a serious game in the championship.
Right.
The red zone issues came back. The line issues came back. The special teams issues came back. They all came back. So they really got some things that they got to fix. I'm just hoping that they'll be able to keep the focus. When we lost to a team 13-10 last year, it was a nice team meeting that happened at the end of that, and then they went on that crazy run in the playoff. I don't know if they had a team meeting this time around and had to, you know, face accountability for what happened then, because I know that the next day, Brian Hartline was already on a plane to Florida.
That's right. That's true.
He had to get introduced as their coach this morning.
Yep. Well, if they did have a team meeting, it needed to take place in Ryan Day's office. I know that much.
Oh yeah, something. I'm just concerned about the focus, and not even so much as the focus is. Are you really going to be able to put together a solid game plan with one half of your offense on the other side, at the bottom of the country?
Well, that's where Ryan Day
you up north.
Ryan Day needs to grab the bull by the horns. This is his team. It would be different if the head coach was a defensive guy, but Ryan Day's not a defensive guy. That's an offensive guy. That's his offense that he was letting Brian Hartline call plays for. That was his offense. He needs to take ownership of it.
Yep. And I know that he's, Ryan Day, he's the type of guy, he's not going to point fingers. He's going to try to put as much of the blame on himself as possible. But in this situation, you have no choice but to put all the blame on yourself. And I understand that, it was a hectic week, him announcing that he's leaving, and then the stuff that happened with Chris Henry Jr. So you're trying to balance out there, trying to get the kid to still keep coming to the school. How all of that got in the way of one of the most important games of the season by his decree, because that's one of the team goals every year. Beat Michigan, you did that. Win the Big Ten championship, then win the national championship. I don't understand it.
Right.
Don't get it.
Well, it happened, brother.
Frustrating game.
It did. It was frustrating. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh, you took this thing right up to the last 10 seconds of the shot clock, brother. Any thoughts on your way out, my man?
Nope. I just hope that we get ready these next couple of weeks. We get us a plan together, and whoever it is that we end up drawing, we do what we got to do.
Do what we do, brother. That's it. Get in the playoffs and do what we do.
My man. Yep.
Go out there and kick some butt. Put up a ton of points. And leave no doubt, right? Leave no doubt, man. Great call, Jar. Have a good rest of your week, brother. OH.
All right, my man. Ayo.
Great phone call, man. That's how we're going to roll now. I like this little shot clock thing. Come hard. Bring me your thoughts. 6 minutes. Hit the buzzer. Hit that fadeaway 3 at the buzzer, right? I like this. That's 2 in a row we've nailed right there. Let's keep her rolling, man. Who's up next here? Let's take a quick. Oh boy. This Oh,
Oh, I caught strays from Ray this evening, Eric. Why? What did I do?
You were catching some serious strays, brother. Overconfident. You were overconfident, Tyler.
My overconfidence got the better of me, apparently. Okay, well, I apologize, Ray. I apologize.
Well, there you go. That was nice of you, T, to offer that apology. That was nice of you, brother.
All right, well, I'm going to go off on one guy, Eric.
Do it.
I have a big problem with one Brian Hartline.
Ooh. Do tell.
So my biggest problem, Eric, is what has been the best offensive game he's actually called this year. Legitimately, a question. What game did he actually call that was actually the best? But I can be like, hey, that was a great game plan.
I thought Washington was good, but wasn't like 40-some points or whatever, but it was good. The Michigan one was obviously good. Obviously. It's hard to say Rutgers, UNLV, Wisconsin. I mean, you're supposed to wax those schools. What do you think, T? What's been his best game?
I don't know, Eric. I just think that the teams that we've played, we've out-physicaled them with our talent. But actually coaching, actually setting things up, I don't know. I don't know. But you know what? Brian Hartline, you have an opportunity to prove me wrong and all Buckeye Nation wrong. If you get this win in the Cotton Bowl and then you go on to the Fiesta Bowl and beat Georgia, we're going to be like, where has this been all year long?
Mm-hmm. Well, Ryan Day said he knew when to press the gas. Why wasn't the gas pressed Saturday? I mean, was he just blowing smoke up our backsides, T, or is this a legitimate?
Probably.
I mean, it's a legitimate question.
You know what? Also, the funniest thing, Eric, is 13-10. 13-10.
Again, yeah, I know.
So that number is going to be burned in my brain forever. The idea that I don't know if maybe that score is cursed, Eric. I don't know.
Should we make some kind of bet that someone has to get a 13-10 tattoo if we win the national championship again? I dyed my beard last year.
I understand we had a bunch of distractions going into this game last week, but that doesn't discount the fact that you still got embarrassed. Why have you not put your backup guard in who played better than your starter all year long? Who's been giving up sack after sack after sack after sack? Why do you keep playing Tegra?
It was a turnstile. Now, the obvious argument to that, T, as to why is because Tegra's outperformed Van Sickle in practice. That would be the obvious answer that a coaching staff would give you, that he's just been better. But I would say the film tells me otherwise in this football game, because Van Sickle, although he wasn't exactly setting the world on fire, at least he kept Julian upright. I mean, my gosh, Tegra was blocking air sometimes on a one-on-one. I mean, air. He didn't even get a hand on that defender. That guy was by him so fast. Like, brother, I can't even tell you how fast it was.
And I want to go off. I want to say what piggy off of what David was talking about for a second.
Sure.
Taylor's a senior, so after this year, he's gone. So you are a senior, Tegra, and you weren't playing like this. That's what makes it worse.
Is he a senior? I thought he was a redshirt junior.
No, he's a senior. I looked at it. Me and Sean went through a couple weeks ago. We went through the entire roster to do the roster turnover to see what the roster going to be looking like before the incoming class came in.
I got my roster right here on our preseason magazine. Gosh, look how beautiful that thing is, man. It's gorgeous. Anyways, shot clock's about to go off, T. Give me your final thoughts on the way out the door, brother.
All right. Last thing, Brian, you haven't, like I said, you have an opportunity to prove us all wrong. If you don't, I don't want to see you I want to see you in Columbus. If you win the national championship, that's if. I'll give you all the praise you want. But that's only if you win.
All right. There he was. There he goes, Tyler. Great call, buddy. OH.
IO.
It's real simple to T. You want to hang around, you got to win. That's his standard, man. You got to win. And I looked it up. Tegra is a senior. T was right. Don't doubt him, man. Don't doubt the T. He's on it. We go from the T. We go from him to the Sean. Go down to the van down by the river. What's up, brother?
Brother, I tell you what, I hope on that plane Heartline had Tegra and Fielding with them on that plane going down to Florida.
Well, yeah, I guarantee you, Heartline said, you guys can stay back. I'm pretty sure he wasn't going to take them with him.
I tell you what, what's frustrating is there's certain things that's been bothering this team all year long. We've had trouble inside the red zone. Our freaking offensive line has regressed from last year. I mean, I thought we were starting to come together after the Michigan game, that we're starting to run the ball better. But hats off to Indiana, man. Their defensive line kicked our offensive line's butt.
Yeah.
In the trenches, they kicked our butts.
Yes,
they manhandled them. And one thing I don't understand about Heartline is they're blitzing Julian constantly. There's no screen passes. There's no three-step drops, get the ball out of his hand quick. Everything he kept trying to do was have him do seven-step drop backs, long developing plays down the field. I'm just like, there's no creativity to the run game at all. No counters, no sweeps. Everything's either dive or up or power. I mean, there's no creativity at all. He doesn't set up his plays for anything. I mean, it's just like he's just throwing stuff against the wall to see if something sticks.
Why do you think
one of the worst called games?
Why do you think that was? Why do you think the game plan by the offensive coaching staff, and Ryan Day's included in that, why do you think that game plan was so generic and Manila?
I have no clue, Eric. If I knew, I'd tell you. I mean, I was scratching my head. I'm just like, he's been like that a lot this year, though. Honestly, there's been times like I just don't understand what he's doing. Like with Chip would always set things up. Be running certain things to set other plays up. Brian Hartline does not do that. I get it. He's a first-time play caller, and, Chip's, a master at it. But there's no creativity, no setup. I mean, yeah, they did that one pass back, thing play, that got them some yardage.
Which was a disaster.
I mean, they run the same run plays over and over again. There was hardly any counters, no end arounds, nothing. And it's just frustrating. And Tyler Bowen might be a great recruiter, but and everybody hated Fry for his recruiting, and I get that. But Fry could develop, and Fry had our offensive line kicking butt in the playoffs. At the end of the year, we were kicking butt. I mean, I don't know what it is with Tyler Bowen, but I thought this year, one of the strengths of this year's team was going to be the offensive line, and it hasn't been.
You're right. But here's what's so crazy,
Yeah.
Sean. Just a week ago, it was.
I mean, last week they ran great against Michigan. And you know what? The last couple of weeks they've been, granted, some of the competition hasn't been as good. But, they thought that they were just going to be able to bully them Indiana around, and they couldn't. I mean, their defensive line was stunning. They were blitzing. They were shooting gaps. I mean, they did not adjust to it at all, and that's what worried me. I mean, another thing that really ticked me off, Eric, is, I said something earlier in the week where I'd talked to a former player who's a defensive back, and he said one thing that worried him was no team this year had constantly tested our secondary by keep going it down the field. We haven't faced a quarterback that can keep throwing the ball down the field because our cornerbacks don't pick up the ball good and they get handsy. And what happened? Mendoza, who's a senior and a smart player, kept throwing the ball down the field, and Jermaine Matthews would not get his freaking head turned around, and he got burnt twice. I mean, our cornerbacks all year long have not picked up the ball, and they've gone handsy. And it's like that's been like that the whole year. You can go the whole year. I mean, we've gotten away with it so many games where they've either people have misthrown or the quarterback hasn't been that great. But as soon as we play a great quarterback, and it wasn't even one of their top receivers either. It was a third string receiver, a fourth string receiver that came in because the other guy was hurt. That was burning Jermaine Matthews.
Yeah. Crazy.
And, last thing I want to say is I just want to tell the Notre Dame guys, you know what? If you want to be in the playoffs, beat Miami head-to-head, win the game on the field. I don't want to hear you crying because you guys get so much, special treatment. You always guys get ranked higher than what you should be ranked because you think just because you're Notre Dame, you should be in the playoffs. Well, you know what? Join a conference, and don't be mad at the ACC because you know what? They're jockeying for their team to get in there, so they're sticking up for their team. If you want to be in there, join the conference. Do I think it's right what the playoff committee did? No, but you guys acted like a bunch of little crybabies that didn't get their way, so you're not going to go to a bowl game. All you're doing is hurting your players. You're hurting your younger players by not having all them extra practices and that experience and getting live game reps and helping your guys develop. And you're losing out on revenue too because you guys are throwing a temper tantrum.
Sean, who you guys have tomorrow night on the Buckeye Lounge?
We're going to have E.J. Underwood on.
Former Ohio State Buckeye, E.J. Underwood, going to be on the show tomorrow. Looking forward to that. 8 o'clock Eastern right here on YouTube. Make sure you tune in for that, my friends. Sean, I appreciate the phone call, man. I appreciate the passion. Great phone call, brother.
No problem, brother. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, you want to get a smile on your face tonight?
Michigan still sucks.
Well, better than that. Go look at how go look at how many subs we have on our YouTube channel, and then go to another channel and look at how many they have now.
Eric, hey, I just want to tell you, man.
That's all I'm gonna say.
It's been a blessing and a pleasure to be part of the channel, man. Thanks again for giving me the opportunity, brother.
Appreciate you, my man.
I appreciate you guys.
Have a good night, OH.
You too. IO, scum still sucks.
EJ Underwood tomorrow on the Buckeye Lounge. Make sure you check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let me make a reply to this comment from Jar. He goes, that Michigan game was raw emotion. That's hard to replicate. I asked everybody. When did I ask this question? Last Sunday. After we beat Michigan, I asked the panel, Are you worried about there being a letdown because the emotion was so high in that game? And everyone said, nah. I think the answer to that question should have been yes, we're concerned. Because there was definitely a different level of emotion from this football team in Ann Arbor to what we saw in Indianapolis. 100% there was. All right, let's go down to Southern Ohio and talk to the beautiful Mika. How you doing this evening?
Hello. Hello, Godfather.
Have you calmed down at all, Mika, or are you still fired up?
Yes, I'm good now. I'm good. I said it on my X page. The main goal is still in front of us. And yes, I know that some other teams can claim to have gone undefeated to the national championship, but let's face it, they had help for at least part of that season. So I don't want to hear it. Going undefeated in any sport is extremely hard, and at least with this loss, it didn't really hurt us. All the main goals are still in front of us. Yes, that would have been nice little feather in our hat to take with us into the playoffs, but we didn't get it, and we gotta refocus and move on. I want to give Indiana their props because they're a great team, and I really think they're building something over there.
They are.
You there?
Yeah, they are, Mika. I'm just letting you get everything off your chest that you want to get off tonight. That's what this call-in show is about. If people who want to say whatever they want to say about this game, the team, the coaching staff, whatever, that's what tonight is. So I was just giving you that free reign. Mika, let's talk Brian Hartline for a second. What's your thoughts?
Like I said on the round table, he's got to look himself in the mirror and say figure out whether him staying is doing more harm than good. And if the answer is yes, then he has to go. If he thinks he can refocus and give us as close to 100% as possible and be what he was or has been for us, then stay. But he's got to evaluate that, and so does Ryan Day.
And yeah,
do what's best for the program, and I think he wants to do that. And it would be hard. It would be hard to get this far and then walk away, given his relationship with the guys in his room and just the team in general. I get that it's hard to sever ties like that.
Right.
But if you're hurting the team, then you have to go. And that's a decision he's going to have to make. No one can make that for him except maybe Ryan Day. And I think Ryan Day wants him to make a decision. Either refocus or leave.
Do you think Ryan Day should make that decision for him?
I mean, he is the head coach, but I think ultimately he's going to let Hartline make it because he has that respect for Hartline. So I think ultimately it's going to come down to what he sees in himself. Because I think Ryan sees a lot of himself in Ryan.
So
similar career trajectories and similar attitudes. I think he sees a lot of myself and Brian.
How so? What are some of the similarities that you believe Ryan Day sees? I'd like to get a little bit more insight from you on that.
I think they got similar attitudes in terms of wanting to build relationships with players first and, caring about them, relating to them, and translating that over to the football field and the focus on culture, similar aggressive mindsets when it comes to just how they go about the game. I mean, I know last game wasn't a great example of aggressiveness, but normally they both are very aggressive, very personable, but can be kind of quiet to the media. Sometimes I think you seeing Ryan come out of his shell a little bit more. I mean, both were touted early on as being great recruiters and great developers. I just think he sees a lot of himself, and I think that's why he pushed him to go to USF, because he wants to see him avoid the pitfalls that he went through.
Interesting. That's interesting. Mika, that's the shot clock. Your last thought on the way out, girl. Drain that 3-pointer.
I think we got it. I think we'll refocus and take care of business. Miami and Texas A&M don't really scare me. I think we got this. Pull together as a unit and take care of business like we did last year. And at least if things go to crap, we can always say we beat the team up north, which is always a good thing.
It is always a good thing. That's right, Mika. Oh, hey, real quick. You want to give anybody a quick preview of what the next episode of the Illuminati podcast might be? A topic of discussion might be.
Working on presenting a theory about the reasons behind why Michigan hired a certain former coach that they just hired. So I have a theory of running with it.
I love it. All right, Mika. Have a good evening. OH.
I am.
We got a $10 super chat that we need to get to. Before that though, Troy says every time I hear that alarm, I yell out 5 more minutes. Oh, my buddy Carl Hugler. Billy Gonzalez from the University of Florida is available now. Wide receiver coach, OC, was he? Interesting. Also, a name that Bart is thrown out there is Brian DeBall, former New York Giants head coach, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not a huge NFL guy. I just remember the name and I remember seeing him in New York stuff. So interesting. Going back to the NFL, possibly with that one. Obviously, Chip Kelly would be the most desirable choice, I think, by most people. But Bobby Carpenter has put it out there that he's not so sure that Chip Kelly wants to come back to college. Our $9.99 super chat from Larry Daniels. We play the cheaters up north. They play Purdue. We have coaching distractions. They have had none. They looked locked in. Talking about Indiana, they looked locked in. We didn't. Defense held them to 13. Offense laid an egg. Lost by 3. We're ready now. Go Bucks. I put that quote out there yesterday. We didn't really talk about it. Archie Griffin said the difference between a fighter and a quitter is if you're willing to get back up and swing again. We're going to find out if this team if they're a bunch of fighters or are they kind of prima donnas. We're going to find out. I don't think they're prima donnas. I don't think they're a bunch of quitters. I think his team's full of a bunch of fighters. I think they're going to get up off the mat and they're going to swing. I'm pretty confident in that. So, and a lot of people have been talking about, well, who's the leaders? Well, we're going to find out who the leaders are. We're going to find out. We got a new caller. This is a new caller, everybody. So I always like new callers. 419 area code. Who we talking to this evening?
You're talking to Keen Buckeye, sir. How you doing?
What's up, Alex? I didn't have your phone number, man.
Yeah. I was just in the line for Culver's. I was flipping through YouTube, saw you were doing the live show. I said, screw it. I'll call him. We'll talk a little ball here, talk a little shop.
Let's do it.
How's it going?
It's going. It's been an interesting day. Working on a few stories currently this evening from the team up north, by the way, which is So I don't know if you saw, Alex, but Jabba the Hutt, aka Ward Manuel, was on what the 247 Sammy show, and got to talking about the $30 million fee that they have to pay, the NCAA.
Yeah.
And he said, we're going to be able to pay that. But he followed it up with, there might be some NIL problems because of this. So in other words, donors are going to be paying that 30 mil. And that money was going to be spent on NIL. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for whatever hurts that university's football program, but they got a rich billionaire's wife in their back pocket, so I'm sure that'll get paid pretty easily without question. What I'm really hoping is that Sherrod Moore continues to underwhelm, and that we start seeing really a first instance of donors like that saying, well, we're not paying anymore, because why are we going to keep continuing to funnel money in this program when it's being mediocre? I'm intrigued, because you look at their slate next year, it's harder. It's harder for Ohio State next year too. But I look at their schedule for next year, 8-4 at best, and I'll continue to brush my shoulder off. Preseason, I called 9-3 at best for them in the Cheez It Citrus Bowl, and here we are. So 8-4, I think, for them next year at the highest, and that's probably being pretty generous. So I'm sure a lot of these donors, especially that rich billionaire's wife, are going to look at that after next season and be like, well, I'm not going to continue to give money to this program unless a head coaching change is made, and then we'll see what happens after that. But so what happens in this NIL game when you don't make any regulations going into it? You have people from the outside starting to pull all the strings in your program, like a governor of Louisiana for LSU, for example. So, what happened to the sport we love, Eric? What happened to the sport we love?
It got greedy.
Yeah, big time.
Mm-hmm. It got.
And I mean, greedy. These were issues not even I thought of. When I did my show, we talked about when the NIL era started, what our concerns were. And my main concern was these athletes getting all this money and then doing dumb stuff with it, getting in trouble and ruining their entire lives because all of a sudden they got insane money that they never thought they'd have at that age. You know what I mean? I didn't think it would get to levels that it has gotten to, for sure. It's definitely concerning in a lot of ways, and it's hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube at this point. So we'll definitely see what happens going forward with stuff like that.
Indeed we will, man. Let's talk Brian Hartline. I know we talked about him last night a little bit, and I know you gave some thoughts, but it became very evident today when he was introduced down there in Tampa. He is not going to be with this team, just like Ryan Day announced. He's not going to be with this team for this week while he's down there taking care of business. What's your whole vibe on this thing, man?
Well, I get it. You just got hired to this university. This is your team now. and you have head coaching duties now. You didn't have those before, and it's insanely hard to split time doing something like that, right? You're still the OC of your alma mater, and you're in the college football playoff, but you're also having to be a head coach down there and start your recruiting process and do all the introductory stuff. So, I mean, it's a good thing we have 3 weeks, but I'm sure prep has already started. So Brian Hartline's going to have to decide whether he wants to just say, hey, do what's best for my alma mater and maybe just let you have the reins to it, and I put more of my focus into USF, or if he thinks he can step up to the plate and lock in after what we saw Saturday.
Don't you think that the athlete that he is, the competitor that he is, he thinks he can do both, though?
Oh, he absolutely does, for sure.
So at the end of the day, it's Ryan Day's call to say it's not the best call here.
Yeah, and like you were talking about with the Nick Saban thing, and there's something about him I want to talk about too.
Okay.
But I mean, he's very right in the fact that it seems obvious that Hartline is very much South Florida minded right now, and he should be. I mean, it's going to be his new job going forward. So it is going to be something Ryan Day is going to have to think about very quickly, into whether this is going to be too much on Brian Hartline and too much of a distraction for this team, because we have a real good shot at another national championship despite what happened Saturday. And while obviously I would have loved to have gotten the 3 seed, gotten the easier first round game out of the way, I still think we can beat A&M or Miami. But if we're going to come out with that type of a game plan, that type of a play calling night against either one of those teams, it's going to be a rough showing. So, yeah, Ryan Day, I mean, this is just another thing Ryan Day's going to have to learn from now. This is another learning experience. I mean, he's lost coaches before, but he's never really had to face this where such a pivotal part of his coaching staff, took a job in, before a playoff run even started, and now you're going to have to see if he can do it or not. And it's going to be interesting to see what transpires in the next few weeks for sure.
What's your Nick Saban take here? I'd love to hear it.
Nick, well, first and foremost, this is a Nick Saban and Matt Finks thing. Nick Saban, I saw talk about, his Alabama teams and, how he had a lot of one-loss champions, and sometimes you need that loss to really refocus yourself and learn and all that good stuff. And I mentioned it slightly on the show yesterday, but that was before I saw Nick Saban said something about it. I am so tired, so tired of this whole idea of we need losses to learn from things. And I mentioned it last night, and I'll reiterate it again. We have plenty of film from wins to learn from these mistakes. We have plenty of film of Tegra being absolutely bodied by certain teams that we played and just not playing up to the standard we needed him to. We have plenty of film to show that when we put other guards in besides Tegra, that things ran a little bit well or better. We also have plenty of film I forgot about, even some like the Missouri game and Nebraska game last year, that Jaden Fielding just isn't that good of a kicker. So I hate this whole notion of needing a loss to fix things. And Matt Finkus wise, I see him, and I have a great deal of respect for him. He's a former Buckeye, great player. But the whole notion of him and other Buckeye fans saying, well, this game wasn't really that important. I get the whole in the grand scheme of things, we were in the playoff regardless, but I guarantee you to these players and these coaches, that game mattered, and it should matter. We should want to win our conference. every game matters, and especially if you keep preaching that your 3 goals are to beat the team up north, win the Big Ten, win a national championship, you can't just go as a fan, especially, and say, well, those games don't matter. Well, those are our 3 goals every season, so of course they matter. And that game mattered Saturday. Now, did we see the game plan and stuff like it mattered? No. It was very poor. It was very 2024 team up north-esque. But we got to stop these coping mechanisms as a fan base, that the team up north game doesn't matter just because we aren't winning it. The Big Ten championship doesn't matter just because we aren't winning it. What if we don't end up winning the Natty this year? Oh, well, the Natty doesn't matter. Are we going to cope with that? No, of course we aren't.
That sounds very much like
the coping has to.
That sounds very much like the
Say what?
Clemson. I said that sounds very much like the Clemson's fan base right now. I just did an interview with Brian from Clemson Football Live, and I basically asked him, how did we get here? And he said the Clemson fan base went from expectation being national championship to, well, we won 2 of them, but we're still making the CFP, to, well, we went to the CFP a bunch of times, but we still are getting we still have 10-win seasons too, and we're winning the ACC, to now, well, we have a chance to get 8 wins, and the ACC was just was very even this year. And he goes, how did we fall from college football national championship game expectations to we have a chance to win 8 games by going to a bowl game? He goes, that is how far we have fallen as a fan base. And I don't think Ohio State will ever get to that point, because people like you and me won't let us get to that point. We're too vocal, man.
Yes. And I will continue to be, because it drove me nuts, especially last year when fans were downplaying the team up north game. I'm like, we constantly say we have 3 goals. The coaches, the players, and even us fans, we constantly say it. You can't just go back on it all of a sudden because we didn't win that game. That game absolutely mattered Saturday night. We absolutely should have been better prepared for it, distractions or not. And, do I feel like in a lot of ways we beat ourselves? Yes, just like we did against the team up north last year. But unlike that game against the team up north last year, Indiana's a really good team. And they had all eyes on us, and they were ready to make a statement. And they made a few more big plays to make that statement. So kudos to them. Indiana fans are talking a lot of sauce. Good for you. It's the first time they've ever gotten to do that in the history of ever. My brother was born the last time they beat us, so that was a long time ago. And I pray we get that rematch in the Natty, because I feel it will go very differently, like it should have on Saturday night. So
indeed it will.
It's going to be fun.
Great first phone call, brother. You need to do it more often. King Buckeye, thank you for calling in.
I know. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, the call-in.
Now you got my number, so now you'll know it's me.
Yeah, there. I wrote it down, brother. OH, man, have a good night, man.
Perfect. You too. Bye.
That was King Buckeye. Alex, you saw him on the show last night. He's on the panel every now and then. Used to have his own podcast, and we've gobbled him up. Good to have him with us as a part of our team here at the OHIO podcast. All right, it's time for a little Rocky Mangoes, man. Let's bring him on. What's up, brother?
Oh, so this is going to be probably a very unpleasant visit for me this time around. So I got a lot of issues revolving around college football. Number one, I understand Ohio State has deficiencies that we really need to hyper focus on, because it is a problem not scoring in the end zone, having a hard time punching in for a touchdown on the 2-yard line, or kicking problem special teams. But I am tired of fans, including our fans, Ohio State fans, a fraction of them, and the ref.
Hello? Mangoes? Hello? We lost you, man. Can't hear you, brother. RK Mangoes, we can't hear anything you're saying, man. We lost you.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There you are. Yeah, got you now. There you are. Continue.
All right, how about now? I'm testing. I had to move.
Oh, we can hear you now.
Yeah, so this is going to be in a very unpleasant call on this one because I got a lot of grievances about college football right now.
Okay.
So I understand Ohio State has deficiencies. We have a hard time scoring in the red zone. I understand our kicking game sucks. I mean, yeah, our O-line has regressed, but I am so sick of people in general giving referees and the officiating, governors of the game, a pass on poor officiating. When's it going to stop? Indiana's offensive line, we're tackling our defensive linemen down to the ground. We get no holding call. How come we always give people a pass of doing a poor job? You know, it's like we got a million Angel Hernandez officiating football games, and we don't have an outrage for that. But yeah, we're going to call everybody a crybaby whenever we point out something that isn't right. 2001, Bottlegate, Jacksonville at Cleveland. Des Bryant catches a touchdown pass for Dallas Cowboys. They call it back. The NFC Championship game when New Orleans Saints, you know, they get ripped off and LA Rams wins it. 2019, come on, Buckeyes. We all know that referees are out against us. 2019 Clemson, it was a fumble, and we got that call back, us losing the game. I am so sick of fans acting like, oh, well, we need to not put ourselves in a position for the referees not to do that to us. Yet we're going to say when it happens and it directly affects us that, oh, well, you know, referees can influence the tempo of the game of how momentum is being distributed by the both teams. I am so sick of it. There needs to be accountability. That officiating on Saturday, they gave Indiana the win. I don't care they call me a crybaby. Go pound sand. I don't care. I'm sick of it. Stop rewarding bad behavior, especially when governors of the game are literally screwing every team. Even SEC fans are crying about it when it was Georgia and Auburn. We need to stop acting like it's not something that we need to really have an outrage over. End of story. As far as Notre Dame, they get screwed out of the playoffs. Anybody who says they need to join a conference needs to shut up. For the last 100 years, Notre Dame has tried to go into a conference, and every single time they do, they get blacklisted and told no, starting with Fielding Yost in Michigan 100 years ago. And guess what? We, Ohio State Buckeyes, said no to Notre Dame not joining the Big Ten in the 70s. Woody Hayes voted no on them. So let me get this straight. You're okay with Notre Dame not being in the conference when it suits you, but you're okay with them joining them when it suits you. Shut up. Leave them alone. You didn't want them in the conference then. Don't say that join the conference to stop crying. How about you stop crying about them not joining conference because you guys pushed them away. You told them no, and guess what? They benefited more than they don't benefit from it. Shut up. Leave them alone. I'm so sick of people crisscrossing what they say versus how they act like the playoff committee. The playoff committee for the whole season, Notre Dame was ranked higher than most of these teams that jumped for them. And having two G5 teams in the playoffs and they don't have a chance to compete, we really need to stop this nonsense. Notre Dame got screwed. BYU got screwed. Alabama and the two G5 teams have no business being in the playoffs, but yet we don't want to talk about that. We want to say Notre Dame's two losses determined the whole season, though that they changed. They went from the worst defense to one of the best defense in the country. Yet we only look at the pessimistic side of what team who we don't like in selective outrage. I am so sick of it. Y'all just need to stop it. If Notre Dame decides to opt out on their bowl, don't call them a crybaby because you'll probably feel the same way if it happened to you. Like Florida State, for an example. Stop it. Grow up. I'm so sick of this, Eric. I'm sorry, man, but people need to get their heads out of where the sun don't shine and understand that not everybody thinks like you, and also lay off of them. Lay off of them. Especially on Notre Dame. They have a right to say no. It's damned if they do, damned if they don't. That's all I got to say, Eric. You got any questions for me?
Great. That was, dude.
I'm pissed.
That was great, dude. I was just, hey, listen, here's what's great about sports, right, Rocky?
Go on, man.
Here's what's great, man, is it brings out so much passion in people. And I love that. Let's start with the referees first, okay? I try not to talk about them. I umpired baseball for a long time, and I fielded so many complaints about how I had a wide strike zone, and I would always say, go up there swinging the bat. Don't look for a walk. Go up there wanting a hit. And so I would tell kids, because I did a lot of what they call Babe Ruth, which is 14, 15, 16-year-olds. No, 13, 14, 15-year-olds. And I used to tell those kids, I would say, I'm trying to teach you to be aggressive at the plate, to think aggressively, and if me as an umpire, I've got a big strike zone. Guess what? You're going to go up there looking to swing the bat. But I used to take a lot of heat for that. So I try to not be so critical to officiating. But twice this year, it has been so egregious that I've had to say something. The fact that Kenyatta Jackson got tackled twice and it never got called is 100% egregious. And I don't know what I know for a fact Ryan Day and Ohio State will cut up film and they'll send it into the Big Ten offices and say, come on, man, how is this not a holding call, right? And it just doesn't seem to do anything. I don't know what it's going to take. In basketball in the Big Ten, man, they don't call anything in the paint. And then they'll call the most ticky-tack thing away from the ball where you're like, wait, you called that a foul? But yet the guy literally got his head taken off in the paint and you called nothing? The problem is inconsistencies. If you're consistent as an official, that's the only thing I think we can ask for. Do you agree, Rocky?
Yeah, I agree. I actually, and that's one thing I'll agree with you. And my only rebuttal to with you officiating baseball, Eric, with all due respect, you don't have a system that is replay. We have replay in pro and college, and there's literally no excuse for mistakes that happen. If they make a rule where they won't look at a potential penalty, that means that there's an issue with the system and they need to expand the criteria of what they need to do. If inconsistency is because you can say that it's a problem, but I can make an argument that that's a symptom of the system that is not designed to make it fair and equal. And when you got a system that they have replays where we can look on play by play and also a command center by all conferences on game day to examine these things, and we're not being thorough about it, that can be the causation instead of correlation of that issue. That's my counter argument on that. I agree the consistency, but if we're not fully utilizing that replay mechanism, then what are we really doing? We're just selectively enforcing rules, and there's no mechanism to prevent that at this moment as we're discussing at the moment.
You're right. That's a great point, man. One of the biggest problems with the officiating in college football, in my opinion, is that they are employed by the conferences and not NCAA. So there's no, like you said, there's no governing body to institute equality across and consistency across the board. And so Big Ten officials, and one of the biggest things that scares me is going to a bowl game. Let's say we play A&M, right, in the Cotton Bowl. You're going to get a Big 12 or you're going to get an ACC officiating crew more than likely. And we haven't played with those type of officials all year. And so we're all of a sudden the style changes. You see it all the time in NCAA basketball with the Big Ten schools. It's one of the reasons why the Big Ten hasn't won a national championship in the NCAA tournament since 2000 is because we're so used to basically what I call no blood, no foul in the Big Ten. And then all of a sudden they get into the NCAA tournament and they get called for all of these fouls. And these guys are like, I can't be physical? What happened? Because of that, it really hurts, it hurts
I
the
re-
Big Ten.
I really think that the amount of money and the contract and everything else, like you look at the relationship with ESPN and the SEC, way how much money they're raking in, and then the ACC. Now, I understand the head-to-head argument with Notre Dame and Miami, but the thing is that Miami really, the ACC really pushed hard for Miami because if they go in, they get to split that money with all the ACC teams, therefore more money circulating versus Notre Dame, where it just sits in Notre Dame, if that makes any sense. The money is distributed more with an ACC team. And also what they did now, what they basically axed Notre Dame because I think that Notre Dame was doing a trial run with the ACC with this agreement that they have. And if I'm Notre Dame, I'm going to be wanting to find any way to tear up that agreement because it just screwed you over. You know, you had 3 teams that were in the lower 100 of the FBS, Stanford, Syracuse, and Boston College. That didn't help you. You end up playing Purdue. They're down there. Purdue is having the worst season in their history. You know, and it's just all about the money. The more money, and I said this in the offseason, the more money that goes into college football, the more corrupt it's going to get. And that's where it's going to break my heart today that I'm just going to be like, you know, I can't do it no more. I'm enjoying it while it's good now, but eventually it's going to come to the part where it's too damn corrupt like the NFL. We're heading in that direction. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you giving me the voice. I want to shout out to somebody from the Always Irish who is here. My man Martinez, I heard you, bro. If you're still here, man, shout out to you, brother. You guys are good people in there in the Always Irish community. I love you guys over there. I love Ohio State. I still love my Buckeyes, and anybody who wants to argue with me and debate me about Notre Dame joining the conference, I'm warning you, I'm blood sporting you, blood sport debate because I had it up to here. I still love you guys. We'll talk later. If you want to debate me, go on Patreon. We'll go from there. But no, I've had it. I've had it. They need to be put in their place and have proper perspective instead of this low IQ, shallow thing. But anyways, I love Ohio State. I love you guys. I love you, Eric. God bless. Have a good night. Y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all next week.
OHIO, buddy. Great call, man. That was Rocky, dude. Passionate man. I love how he plugged our Patreon for every. You want to debate me? Sign up on Patreon. I'll debate you. Patreon's awesome, dude. It's where it's at, man. I love Patreon. Yeah, by the way, we're going to be watching the basketball game tomorrow on Patreon. Also, here tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern, EJ Underwood will be here as the guest, former Buckeye, on the Buckeye Lounge with TG and Sean, the Shock Star. Make sure you're tuned in for that. A lot of big things happening, man. Make sure you're locked in here at the OHIO podcast. Shout out to any of you who who have just joined, man. We've had over close to 800 new subscribers this month. Best month we've had, maybe ever, here at the OHIO podcast for subscriptions on YouTube. If we could just get some of you to say, you know what, I'd love a little bit more. Let's go join Patreon. The link's below. Only costs you $5 a month to get insider information. Buck Vader's blog, TG's NFL Buckeye Rundown, Chris's What Drives Me Wilds, Talking Buckeyes with Bogsy, the message boards, the game watches. It's just an awesome place to hang out, man, and just grow our Buckeye community over there on Patreon. So that would be fantastic if some of you would decide to come and do that. This is also our first week where we are now officially uploading all of our audio through Gamut Media. We are thankful to be a part of that. Oh gosh, you're right, Mika. How could I forget the Illuminati podcast over there as well? Thank you. Mika's podcast, The Illuminati, over on Patreon. We are part of Gamut Media. This will be up. So we've been uploading. This is the first week we're uploading our new, or all of our audio through them now. We're thankful for their partnership and helping lead and guide us and bringing us into the Gamut podcasting family. It's been a great transition thus far. So if you notice, there wasn't too many podcasts from the beginning of last week to this week. That's because we were transitioning over 630 podcasts. That's how many we've done since 2019. 630 OHIO podcasts. And so we were transitioning all of those last week. They're now over there in Game It Media on their servers and being sent out to wherever you download your podcasts. If you are listening to this podcast, please consider giving us a 5-star review. We really do appreciate that. On your way out, hit that like button if you don't mind on YouTube, everybody. Don't forget, tomorrow night, the Buckeye Lounge, 8 o'clock Eastern. And consider Patreon, everybody. Thank you so much. It's been a great night. Be kind to one another. I owe someone's OH in Carmen, Ohio with all your heart. Till next time, you all know what to do. OH! Go Bucks.